My nerves sparked like a live wire as I parked my Jeep in front of Kent's house. Trent was arriving today, and I had come by under the hopeful, desperate excuse of hanging out with Kent, praying I'd run into Trent. My legs felt like overcooked noodles as I approached the front door. I knocked, my hand too warm, too unsteady. No answer. Shit, I muttered, pulling out my phone. One missed call from Kent. I turned away, scrolling through my notifications, trying to settle my racing heart. And then, a smooth throat clear echoed behind me. I froze. Every nerve in my body lit up like a flare. Slowly, I turned. And there he was, Trent, standing just a few feet away, slightly taller than I remembered, looking every bit as gorgeous as he had in every late-night fantasy I was ashamed to admit to. He opened the door and leaned casually against the frame, like a scene ripped straight from my dreams. His hair was still damp from a shower, a loose blue t-shirt clinging to his chest, and gray joggers slung low on his hips. And he was looking at me, waiting. It took me a painfully long second to realize I was supposed to walk in. I slid past him, heart hammering, painfully aware of how close he was, close enough to feel the warmth of his body, close enough that my brain short-circuited and the reaction south of my stomach became impossible to ignore. Mom and Kent ran to the store, Trent said, voice smooth and tinged with amusement. Kent said I'm supposed to entertain you until they get back. His smile curved, playful, but there was something sharp underneath it. Hope you're not disappointed? Disappointed? Hell no. I stepped inside, my pulse thundering, the realization hitting me hard. I was alone, with Trent. No parental buffer, no best friend distraction, just me and the man I had wanted since I knew what want even was. I, not disappointed, I mumbled, fighting not to sound like a breathless idiot. I followed him into the living room, my eyes immediately betraying me, drifting down his back, over his arms, to the curve of his ass. God help me. Who the hell breaks up with this man? You want something to drink? Trent's voice cut through my very inappropriate thoughts. Water? Juice? He asked, glancing back at me as he headed into the kitchen. I swallowed, my throat suddenly bone dry. I'll have what you're having. He chuckled and held up his beer. I keep forgetting you're not a kid anymore. His smile lingered just a little too long. How old are you now? 18? My whole body stiffened. Kid? I'm 19, I said, sharper than intended. Turning 20 in 2 weeks. That seemed to catch him off guard. He disappeared into the kitchen with a thoughtful grunt. If he called me a kid again, I was going to lose it. I wasn't some teenager with a crush. I was a man, with ambition, purpose, hormones currently doing Olympic-level flips under my skin. A minute later, Trent returned and handed me a cold beer. Kent's told me some good things about you, Jay, he said casually. Oh, God. Had Kent told him about my ridiculous, pathetic crush? My stomach twisted. And congrats on finishing your undergrad in 3 years. That's seriously impressive, man. Sparks lit under my skin at the praise. We settled onto the couch, and instead of taking the opposite end like any normal sane person, Trent dropped down right next to me, close enough that our thighs brushed, close enough that the air between us disappeared. I wasn't complaining, not even a little. His body radiated warmth, and it soaked into me instantly, setting off a slow, delicious burn low in my belly. Brains and biceps, huh? Trent said, his lips curling. Gotta say, that's the full package. I blinked, heart thudding. Was that a moan at the end, or was I losing my mind? Then he leaned in just slightly, voice dipping lower, velvet smooth and teasing. I bet you get a lot of attention. Scholars, friends, girls, boys? My heart jolted. Oh, so that's what this was. Confirmation. I bit back a smile. Definitely boys, I said, locking eyes with him. Trent's gaze lingered a beat too long before he asked, "You're pre-law, right? You know what kind of law you want to practice? Trial attorney?" And just like that, the energy shifted, the casual tone, the assumption. Like I was just another naive undergrad dreaming of winning imaginary court cases and quoting movies. My spine straightened. "No. And why would you assume that?" I said coolly. "Cybersecurity and data privacy law." Hot or not, I couldn't stop myself. I pushed back, challenging, questioning, holding my ground, because that was who I was, even if it cost me. Still, God, I hoped I hadn't blown it. That got his attention. His brow lifted slightly, intrigued. "Really? Why that?" I shrugged, taking a sip of my beer, pretending I hadn't rehearsed this answer 100 times. Because people get hurt, ruined, because of cybercrime and data breaches. There's not enough regulation. It's wrong that someone can lose everything to some asshole hiding behind a screen. I paused. Besides, I'm good with tech. I nerded out a little, okay, a lot, but the conversation flowed. Trent picked my brain, challenged me, and I loved it. Bring it on. I knew my shit. And Trent was sharp, too. He schooled me a little in a few areas, and I respected that. Always down to learn when it was worth it. Trent gave a slow nod, his gaze lingering again in a way that made my chest feel too tight. "I would love to have you interning under me," he said, his voice low, innocent on the surface. But his lips curved just enough to make my heart slam against my ribs. Was he flirting? I couldn't tell, and that was the problem. Normally, I was good at reading people, but Trent? He had me spinning off balance, and I hated how much I liked it. Then Trent placed a firm hand on my shoulder, grinning. "Still can't believe you used to follow me around like a lost puppy." I blinked. "I did not." "Dude, you totally did," he laughed. His hand stayed there just a little too long, heat seeping through my shirt. Then he leaned back, flashing a grin that made something in my chest snap. "But I didn't mind," he added softer. And just like that, the air crackled, only for him to break it again a second later. "Hey, you want fruit snacks? I think my mom still keeps them in the pantry." I stared at him. What the actual fuck? This man had whiplash from flirty to fruit snacks in 5 seconds flat. I had no idea what game he was playing. All I knew was that the confusion, the not knowing, was hot as hell. "I think I'll pass on that," I said dryly. Trent scoffed. "Last time I saw you, you and Kent were running around here in your boxers having water balloon fights." And just like that, the air shifted again, toying with me, pushing, pulling. 1 second like he wanted something more. The next like I was still a kid. Was I reading him wrong? Or was this just his twisted way of playing? I bit my tongue, feeling heat rise up my neck. And then I snapped.